Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Star Wars Live again. And today, my guest with me is none other than the famous Imperial Academy. How you doing there, Imperial Academy?
I'm doing pretty good, just relaxing in quarantine, but, trying to do the best out of it, doing Star Wars and Marvel stuff, trying to keep entertained. And I'm doing a live stream with you, Everything Star Wars. And definitely I've been looking forward to this for a while now. So this is definitely an exciting moment.
I have to say, I've been looking forward to this myself for a very long time. Hey, Rosie, how are you? How's everything? I have to say, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I've been a subscriber to you since, a long time. I mean, I followed your channel. Basically, why don't you tell the people out there what your channel is all about?
So basically, my channel is obviously a YouTube channel, which covers mostly Star Wars, hint from behind me a little bit. Basically, Star Wars lore. I discuss loads of different facts and stories that not many people get to talk about. But I also cover stuff like Marvel and all the Marvel universe and all of that stuff. But then also, on top of that, I get to do so much other stuff because I get to live stream and discuss stuff with people. I get to build a community and we get to discuss points all about Star Wars. And I really, really do enjoy doing that.
I'm good. Now your main focus. I know your Star Wars channel, which I love. I think you're very informative. But what is your main focus of Star Wars that you do on your channel?
My main focus. I normally mostly focus around kind of the Clone Wars or the prequel era, because that's always what I've grown up with, and that's the kind of side of Star Wars that I've constantly looked at and researched and grown up alongside. But I am starting to make more videos on the newer side of Star Wars, like the Rise of Skywalker and the Star Wars Resistance. I'm trying to cover that newer stuff to balance out a bit.
A question I have for you is, what makes you so interested in the Clone Wars itself? What has drawn you to it, your love for it? What was it particularly that just sucked you in?
Very good question. Well, when I was about 6 years old, I was first introduced to the Clone Wars, and I started off watching the Clone Wars movie. And I don't really know why, but when I watched that movie, I saw the clone troopers, I saw the colors of their armor, I saw their sacrifice and the way their characters were designed, especially around characters like Rex, Anakin, and Ahsoka. And I just clicked with them. And then when they announced the TV show, I kind of followed that TV show just independently and watched all the episodes and watched them back and learned stuff. And now I got to the point where I am now, where I'm reading the books, I'm reading the comics, I'm literally researching as much as I can just to learn about this era, because I enjoy the characters, the stories, all of that stuff so much.
Great. Who is your favorite character of the Clone Wars?
Now, for people that have seen me before, and I've mentioned it so many times, you probably guessed it, it's Clone Captain Rex. And it's mostly because I love it in the Clone Wars, especially in the latest seasons. We see how much he stands up for himself. Just because he was created in a research facility, he's not just treated as an object. He will treat himself as a living being, and he will stand up for himself. And I've always seen that kind of in me, and I kind of reflected myself off of that character a bit.
Okay, that's interesting. So now you've seen the Clone Wars itself, right? All the seasons, every season.
Yep.
Okay, which is your favorite season of all?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question because there's so many. I wouldn't say I have a favorite season. I have a favorite story arc, and my favorite story arc in the Clone Wars is the Umbara arc, where they go to that really dark planet, and it's mostly to do with the clones. Because in that kind of short story, it's the clones fighting against their Jedi general who fell to the dark side. And obviously, because I love clone troopers, I've always loved that bit so much because they had to unite together to fight the enemy.
Now, it's funny you bring up the enemy because, as Obi-Wan once said, was from a certain point of view, right? Now, we know the story of the Clone Wars, how it was the Republic versus the CIS. But in the end, things seem to turn. And out comes Order 66. And yesterday I was talking with the entertainment crew. We doing our live. And I was mentioning to them, I said, who really is the enemy here? Who is the evil? Because it's portrayed that the Jedis are peacemakers and the clones are there to help them. Sidious played everybody like a chess game. Everybody was a pawn that he didn't care as long as he got power. And in the end, we know what happens. It's the clones that turn on the generals, you know, and except for those few, which we learn in Rebels, which is Rex and a couple others.
Yeah.
So are the clones heroes? Are the clones just used? What is your view of the whole thing now that you got the whole story?
Wow, this is a very good question with very many layered answers. And basically, the way I look at it is the clone troopers are heroes because before they executed Order 66, they went around the galaxy fighting for different planets that they'd never even been to before, never even seen. They were literally bred and grown up to fight, and they sacrificed so much to fight for people. So I think they were heroes in that perspective. But when it comes to Order 66, some people could say that could be different. However, we know that they had inhibitor chips placed in their brain. And the way I think of the inhibitor chip is basically like a mind control bit of technology. When Palpatine executes Order 66, it's basically like the clones, basically their mind is taken away and all of that independence that they've built up is stripped back. And they're basically turned into robots, which then leads them to execute Order 66. Because when you read in the comics, we actually find that a lot of clone troopers suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder after they killed all of the Jedi generals because they felt like that they betrayed their friends.
Okay. So now let me ask you about this then, okay? And like everybody has different opinions, I know that, such as General Grievous, who's in my comment section. You know, the separatists, were they, because this is where, you know, again, I try to think outside of a box, you know, what's portrayed. Yeah. And again, certain points of view. When the separatists were fighting, weren't they fighting because Dooku knew, in his mind, he knew what was happening, right? He left the order because, as far as my understanding, my readings go, and I'm a big Count Dooku fan, he was teaching the younglings and other Jedi his ways. They didn't agree with it. So when he heard that Qui-Gon Jinn had got killed on a mission that he felt he should have never been on, that was the last step. And he saw the Jedi as being blind to what was around them, that there was a Sith Lord controlling. And so he wanted to lead people away from this control. Now, in my mind, in the Clone Wars, he's appeared as this evil person. But when you read the story of him, and again, I was talking about General Grievous yesterday. We were talking about how Grievous yesterday, how, you know, again, he's portrayed as evil because he wants to kill the Jedi. But he says clearly in the Clone Wars, I don't care about Dooku's politics. What I care about is you. Because what they don't tell you in the movies and the cartoons, is it was the Jedi who came to his world and didn't get the story right, and they killed his people, and he wanted revenge. So that's why I say, wouldn't it be more towards a point of view, the Clone Wars, of who's on the right, who's on the wrong? Your opinion.
This is very true, because I actually made a video about this a couple of days ago, and it kind of explains the whole CIS and the Confederacy and the Separatists, and it kind of goes over, are they the bad guys? Well, as we know, Dooku leaves the Jedi Order to go and be the head of the CIS. But in that video, I kind of go into detail about why the CIS became the CIS. Now, the entire reason the Separatists left the Republic, because they were originally part of the Republic, the reason why they left was because they felt like the people that lived in the rich cities like Coruscant had to pay like less tax, and they managed to get away with more illegal things compared to with the more independent planets, which would have been more heavily taxed and been a bit more stricter on the laws. So the CIS believed that basically there should be more equality for all people across the galaxy. That's why they broke away. So if you think about it from that perspective, the CIS were fighting for good reasons. They wanted more equality across the galaxy. However, they kind of broke their own point, because they, for example, one part of equality that they wanted was for all alien species to be treated the same. Because as we know in Star Wars, the human species seems to take priority over every single other alien species. Or the Confederacy put the alien species as first-class citizens, but at the same time, they put the humans as lower-class citizens. So even though they were fighting for equality, at the same time, they kind of basically went back on their own words and made the people they were fighting against lower than them. So if they wanted to be like proper equality type people, they should have made everyone the same instead of changing up a little bit. But you have a very good point that both sides were fighting for valid reasons.
That's interesting. There's a couple of great comments here that I want to go over with you because now we're getting people. I want to say hi to Taco, Fatal J, General Grievous Hero. Who else was here? Rosie running the Mandalorian. I want to say hi to all you guys. Welcome to the stream. This is Imperial Academy. If you'd like to put your channel down there, Imperial Academy, by all means, you guys should check him out. He's got a great channel. He does a lot of Clone Wars. He does Marvel. And you should, yes.
I want to say something.
Okay, but I'll tell you when. My daughter wants to say something. I'll tell you when. Okay, baby. So you know all these people are here. Let's read some of the comments in the comment section. I'm sorry, it's a little slow, so give me a minute. StreamYards is a little slower than YouTube. So I'm going to show you what Taco said. He said the Jedi were arrogant and obvious. That's pretty much why the sole reason why everything in the prequels and the Clone Wars happened. Again, yeah, I think we were talking about this yesterday, how the Jedi's, to me, like Ahsoka Tano says this in episode 7, season 7, episode 11, I believe, or was it 12? It's one of the later ones. She's with Rex. They just captured Maul. They're heading back to Coruscant. And she said, and he's like, what's bothering you? And she said, we're supposed to be peacekeepers, but I've been a soldier all my life, And there was things like the entertainment crew was mentioning yesterday. They said, here's what's interesting is that the Jedi took kids from their families. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. Took them from their families. Now, that's what the Galactic Empire did. That's what the First Order did, right? They took these kids. It's not like these people had a choice here. And when some turned to the Sith, well, look at Anakin. He lost his mom. He had no father figure. So I remember when Ahsoka Tano left in the Clone Wars, and I'm sure you're going to remember this because it's a pretty big moment. She's leaving. She's walking away. And she said, I'm doing this for me. And he said, well, I know what you mean because sometimes I want to leave the Order. Yeah. So you see, I see these perspectives as not just a good and bad thing. I see it as people who are conflicted, who are torn. And when Dooku said, hey, I see what the Jedi are doing here, there's more points too. I'm going to bring it up a little later because I want you to have your say. I feel like I know the clones were just doing what they were told to do, but it appears that this is what everybody was doing. Like Sidious played this so perfect, played both sides of the coin so perfect, and everybody was just nothing but someone for him to use. The Jedi, the people who fought with him, Maul, Grievous, Dooku, everybody, the CIS, he used everybody to gain control of the galaxy. Your thoughts on this?
You're 100% right. He was basically the puppet master of the entire galaxy. But referring back to the point that Tucker made directly, where he says about the Jedi being arrogant and stuff, and we talk about start to talk about the Jedi. The way I thought of it when you were speaking, it came into my mind that in Star Wars movies and the shows that we've seen, we've only ever seen one part of the Jedi in a specific timeline in the galaxy towards the end of the Order. And we know there's a new book series coming out called The High Republic. And in that series, the Jedi are meant to be at their prime, their most best part of time they were ever. So it makes me think that before the Jedi collapsed, they obviously began to grow more corrupt. So we've kind of only ever seen the Jedi as a corrupt organization, which Palpatine manipulated them into becoming. So I think any time before that, any time before Palpatine comes into the picture, the Jedi were actually good peacekeepers. But when Palpatine comes in, he starts to twist things behind the scenes and change things. Because, for example, you mentioned the Jedi taking children away. Well, the Galactic Senate actually made that a legal thing. They said if any child had a Force sensibility, they would be taken legally. They were legally allowed to be taken. And it makes me think, could Palpatine have had something to do with that to make the Jedi look bad? All these different things are good questions that I just kind of made up on the spot.
So, it's funny because I think like everybody has we all have our own way of thinking, like to me, well, yeah. When does May end? I'll let you know. Well, for a while. So, sorry. As I was saying, first of all, I just want to say hi to the Gilk Man who's here. If you haven't checked out his channel, Grievous Heroes here, Fatal J, Taco, and Imperial Academy. If you haven't checked out these channels, man, check them out. Imperial Academy, if you want to put your link. If anybody on your channel wants to put your links in the comment section so everybody can support each other, please, by all means, just put it there. Okay, this is a good comment. The Mandalorian, let's show what he's had to say. He says, Jedi taking children to build their order is practically them being greedy. What do you think of that?
I do agree. And a long time ago, God, making me feel old now. A long time ago when I first started my channel, I made a video and it basically said, are the Jedi good? And I covered the fact that they did take children away at literally the age of a baby. And I've always thought in my mind that that's wrong. In my opinion, you should let the child grow up to a certain age where they can make that choice if they want to go in or not. And it links back to the point where we know in The Phantom Menace, Anakin wasn't going to be trained because he was too old. So it shows you how stuck the Jedi were on their old ways of having to train somebody from birth. I personally think that's wrong. I feel like you should let them grow up and then let them decide. I mean, who's to say there couldn't be like a really old alien out there that wants to be a Jedi? Just let him be a Jedi. If he wants to be a Jedi, let him be a Jedi. Why does it always have to be babies that are randomly picked to become Jedi?
Yeah, I mean, what I think, in my mind, what I'm thinking here is that, like you said, everybody should have a choice in their life. Maybe they don't know what's going on. Like Ezra, he made his choices. He lost his family. He survived, but he had choices to make in life. And when he came across them, they just grew on him. He joined them and they became a whole family. But he made a choice. It's not like someone said, hey, this is what you have to do because you have the Force. So you have to be a Jedi. That's it. There is no other choice for you. Like, no, there is a choice for me. I could choose to stay with my mom. I could choose it. I'm like, in my mind, you're not giving someone freedom. You're taking their freedoms away and say, you can't have any attachments. You can't have this. You can't have that. You can't have possessions. The only thing you could have is us. That's it. Yeah. Like you can't know anything else. And war. And you could know war. But maybe I don't want to know war. Maybe I don't want to kill people. Maybe I could just move things with my body, and I'm happy with that. Yeah. It's like I felt like even the Empire, the first war, like right away you feel like, wow, these people didn't have a choice. It was like either you join us or we kill your family. What do you think? Well, what are you going to do? You're not going to have, like in Rogue One, right? When they get he's trying to hide his daughter away because they're like, listen, if you don't do what we say, that's it. It's over for you. So you're thinking, man, I got to save my daughter. I got to save my wife. Let them take me. I'll sacrifice my life to give them what they want so they leave my family alone. And go ahead.
Sorry. The exact same thing goes for Luke Skywalker. You picked Ezra. Luke Skywalker, he grew up and he had a choice to leave. He could have stayed on Tatooine and taken over the farm where his uncle and aunt were killed, but he decided to leave. So, like you say, links back to the fact that all these characters should have a choice.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Again, I'm not saying that it's hard for me to say, well, this one's evil, this one's not. Yeah, we all know what's right and wrong. There were things the CIS did that was wrong. There were things that Dooku did. Yes, that was entirely wrong. You don't play with life. You don't play with, threaten people, control people. These things are wrong. But then I'm like, in the other perspective, I'm like, yeah, but then the Republic was doing the same thing. Like, oh, you better join us because if you join them, things are going to go horrible for you. We're not going to be there to help you. Like, okay, so then, you're stuck between a rock and a hard. Who do I trust? Do I trust the robots or do I trust the clones? I mean, both of them are just do what they're being told to do. Which side do I take? Which side is better for me and my people? And that's hard. That's a hard decision when you're running a planet of people when you're the leader and you're not part of a war. You're like, you got to choose what side is better for you. Now, does that make you evil? Is that what's considered evil? I mean, What do you think about that?
Well, we do see, especially in the Clone Wars, we see a lot of planets that just get invaded by one side or another, just because they need to get that area under control. For example, off the top of my head, I know the planet of Umbara was under CIS control, but the Republic's like, actually, we want that under our control, so they invade it and take control of the planet. But this brings up a really good point. If you think about it, the Clone Wars TV show is literally from the entire perspective of the Republic. I think it'd be cool if we had an animated TV show from the perspective of the Separatists. Then we had a show for each side.
Yes, that is the one thing I have to say that really irks me about Star Wars, is you always see one side of the story. In life, I was told there's always three sides. Now, here's the three sides. There's my side, there's your side, and there's the truth, right? Because I'm going to say what I feel, you're going to say what you feel, but somewhere in between, we're both right in a way, you know? And that's what I've always learned in life. In Star Wars, we just perceive from one perspective. When we start Battlefront 2, you've played Battlefront 2, correct?
Yeah.
You played this. Oh, let me put this is Grievous's channel. If anybody would like to check out General Grievous here, I'm going to post his channel if it works. There it is. So, from a perspective, we showed, okay, this is the way, this is how it is, this is the good, this is bad, this side's bad. And then as it goes along, we start seeing a different perspective, you know? That's why I like Battlefront 2. We saw it from the Empire's stance, and then we understand why she defected. She had a choice. She made that choice. And I think that was the problem. I think that during the Clone Wars, during these times, these people didn't have choices. So it was one side or the other, or you're doomed. And that's it. That's it. Because like you said, they would get invaded all the time. Could you imagine you're the ruler of your planet, okay, and I'm the ruler of my planet, and you're not involved in the war, and all of a sudden here comes the robots, and here comes the CIS. No, here comes the Republic. Both asking you better take a side, because if you don't, your people are going to die. Yeah. Now you're like, definitely. What kind of, like, is that a threat? Or are you like, what are you trying to do here? Because I would see that as a threat by both sides. Like, wait a minute. So if I don't join you, you're not going to protect me, and you're not going to give me this what I need. But you guys might have something I need. What happens if the Republic had fuel and the CIS had food? But I need both. But you got to choose one side.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you do in that situation? I mean, this is what, if you really think deep into it, a lot of people don't, but if you do, like we do, like other channels do, it makes you wonder, what would you do for your people when you're left with these choices? What do you do?
It is a very hard question to deal with. And the reason why it's so hard is because, especially after the Clone Wars ends, we see in the Galactic Empire, the majority of the planets that were involved in the Clone Wars, after the Clone Wars ended, they were very poor and damaged. Because like you say, both sides were fighting to take control of a planet. It left the planet so economically damaged, they had no money to repair, and the Empire didn't really want to spend money on rebuilding all these planets. So this is why so many planets fell like really poor, into the really poor categories, is because so many planets were being like pulled on. It's like, you go this side, you go that side, and arguing. And that links back to the fact where I think a separatist like Clone Wars TV show would have been really good, because we could see both sides of the story laid out about why they had to do that to those planets. The part that annoyed me with the Clone Wars is that they kind of like dangled the carrot in front of our nose a little bit. There were a few episodes where they literally go onto droid worlds and you see what it's like living under the separatists, but only for a couple minutes. It would have been nice to actually see that a bit more spread out in like actual visual screen time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's always good to get two sides of a story so you can fully understand the story. And sometimes you don't get that. You just get, okay, we're going to follow this one character. We're just going to follow this one. But you know what? In life, things happen for a reason. You know, things always happen for a reason. People act because of something happens to them. Like, you don't just walk in the street and punch someone in the face. You know, there's a reason that some kind of action was made. It's called action reaction. You know, people just don't do things just to do it. There has to be some kind of thought process. You know.
So now, what are you doing in my sofa?
Oh, hold on, my daughter's getting yelled.
That's all right. That's fine.
So you have to get some kind of thought process. You have to, like, okay, if I invaded your world, what's going to be your reaction? Either fear or you're going to fight.
Yeah.
That's it. It's fear that you give in and say, okay, we'll join you because you fear. Or it's your people are not going to take this and be bullied. So you're going to fight for your freedom.
Definitely.
And I think that's what the Clone Wars is all about. I think that's the bigger picture that everybody's fighting for their worlds. And that's what's going on. You know, that's what I think it's your planet.
Rob, turn off the camera.
Oh God. Hold on a second. Hold on, people. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so like I said, I think that's what it's about. And I'm going to check the chat because a lot of people are writing, and I want to check it out.
Yep.
Do you agree with my kind of theory that basically every planet is fighting for their lives and they get sucked into this war because they really don't have choices? They have to think about all their people.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is a really interesting fact. This is why the planet of Mandalore is so interesting in the Clone Wars, because Mandalore decides to take a pacifist approach and it decides not to pick a side. And that makes it a really interesting planet because it shows you what happens when you don't pick a side. Like, for example, Death Watch try and take over, then Maul tries to take over, then the Republic have to step in. So literally, there are so many good examples of literally why not picking a side could end out really bad for you. But at the same time, if you pick a side, it could also end really bad for you. So it's not really like it's a win-win situation. It's really not a win.
Okay, there's a couple of great comments here. I'm sorry, my thing it's always slow on StreamYards. Taco says, even if the Jedi knew about Palpatine's plot, could they have stopped him?
Ooh.
What do you think?
That's a very good question. Well, if we had just Palpatine by himself and the entire Jedi Order, and just so if people don't know, at the time of the Clone Wars, there were around about 10,000 Jedi in the galaxy. If we're saying 10,000 versus Palpatine, I'm assuming Palpatine's going to die just because of the sheer numbers. But if we're saying, for example, like the Jedi Council, just the Jedi Council, some of the most highly skilled Jedi that there were fighting Palpatine, I don't know. I've seen many theories on, especially people like Star Wars Theory. They've made so many videos on what could have happened if Palpatine died. And whichever way you look at it, Palpatine would have definitely have taken down a lot of Jedi before he died. There's a chance he could have died. I feel like if Yoda, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan were together, they would have had put up a really good fight. But then if they brought the other members of the Jedi Council along, they could have really potentially killed him. But I feel like the whole part that makes it in the balance is, does Anakin fall to the dark side or does Anakin stay on the light side? Because whichever side he stays on kind of means the other side will lose, depending on which side he stays on.
Okay, my opinion, I think I can put the camera back. Okay, hold on, I'm back. Okay, in my opinion, here's what I think. I agree with you. The Jedi way outnumbered Palpatine. Palpatine's strategy was to do what he did, put in these chips to force these troopers to kill, because it was the only way he could eliminate the majority of them. And once he did that, get the element of surprise, totally fooled them, then it leveled the playing field. And now when he got the best and young Jedi to join him, the chosen one, well, the ball's in his court. Now everything's in his favor, and he planned that perfectly. If it was the Jedi Council, just the Jedi Council, first off, it was all the Jedis, he's going to lose. He doesn't have the numbers. Now, back in the EU, which is Legends, there were hundreds of Sith. You know, it wasn't like there was one or two Sith. This rule of two didn't exist back in the past. Yeah. So now, if he would have had a bigger army, oh, man, now we got a war. Now we're talking Maul and Dooku and Grievous.
That would be a really cool TV show. That would be a really cool TV show. The Sith and the Jedi Wars. That would be really cool to see.
I think that would be excellent. But I still think if it was the Council, he'd lose. Here's why. Palpatine was one of the best duelists, okay? Palpatine and Dooku were the two best duelists on the Sith side. The best duelist on the Jedi side was Yoda and Mace Windu. But now you got to think about Kenobi and Anakin. You're going to throw them in there. Palpatine's got to face Yoda, Mace Windu, all by himself with Anakin and Kenobi. I don't see him coming out and winning that. I don't see it happening.
Well,
Plus,
think
about Revenge of the Sith. Mace Windu had him, and if it wasn't for Anakin, he's gone because Mace Windu's decision was to kill him. That's it.
Yeah. Just to build on that point that you mentioned about Mace Windu nearly killing him, I watched an interview a couple of years back. George Lucas himself actually said if Anakin never turned up to that room, Mace Windu would have killed Sidious, and basically Order 66 wouldn't have happened. That was from George Lucas himself.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't know that. That's very, very interesting. I'm going to go through as much comments as I can right now. Here's what General Grievous had to say. It just takes a little longer. Sorry about that. It's a little slow.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Grievous says they just try to portray it one way. That's why you should check out my channel.
I'm actually subscribed to Grievous already. Actually, I've been following him for a while.
This is a good comment. I have to put this one in here. Grievous again. It's going to come up in a minute. Says exactly. Grievous defended his people from the evil Jedi invasion. Now I know people are going to say, "Well, but they weren't evil. They were peacekeepers." Here's the story. Again, with Grievous, is some people don't know. They didn't read the book. They didn't do their homework. I understand. He's defending his people. And the Jedi took the word, and I forget what those creatures were called, that Grievous was attacking them, and he was the one trying to take over. And it wasn't like that. He just took it a step too far. That's what happened. So, that's what happened there, and I think people should check up on Grievous and before they make their assumption. Like I said, I think they should show, why not Count Dooku's story, a movie? Why not show a movie about Grievous? Why not show a movie about Vader? Why not show a movie about Yoda? Why not? They could do these things. I mean,
yeah.
Ben says, what is your favorite Clone Wars arc and why?
Where? Sorry, I've just so you know, everything Star Wars. I've actually got the comments on my computer screen as well over here, so I can.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's just the question he had. His question was, Ben follows me for a while. He said, "What is your favorite Clone Wars arc and why?"
My favorite Clone Wars arc, I did say it earlier, but I'll say it again, no problem, is the Umbar arc. I absolutely love that Umbar arc with General Pong Krell, Captain Rex, the 212th, the 501st. That entire fighting against Pong Krell in that arc and the way it built up to that stage was really cool. Everything Star Wars. What's your favorite arc in the film?
It's hard because I didn't watch all the seasons. I mean, I've loved the Cad Bane stuff. I think Cad Bane is a fantastic bounty hunter character. I loved when he was involved, whenever the arcs were, when he was involved. And season 7, I'm going to say I like the Big Batch. I liked that we were talking about this yesterday, how the Big Batch were all different specialists in some kind of field, and they all worked together as a unit. If they were separately, they probably would not have worked out as well. But because they were together, it made them strong. You had the hunter guy, you had the big tough guy, you just really intelligent, the sniper guy. So together they all worked well. Had they been separate, and it was interesting. It was very interesting how the CIS was getting the upper hand. Like, how could they get the upper hand? How could they know exactly what the clones were doing? I thought it was really something intelligent, something I never saw before, something I never thought about before. I didn't think it was possible. I think that was really great that they got inside the clone's head, Echo's head, and they were able to figure out what strategy they would employ, and they were able to win. I thought it was brilliant, and had the Clone Wars had the clones and the Jedi figured that out had they taken a robot and plugged him in, it could have gone the other way, So I just thought that was good.
On that point of the robot, only the super tactical droids would have had the battle plans, and as we see in season 7. These super tactical droids are quite intelligent, and they make sure that they stay hidden for as much as possible during combat. So that's why it was harder for the Republic to try and grab a droid and then do that like they did to Echo, because the super tactical droids made sure that they stay hidden off the battlefield. Fun fact.
That's true. That's true. Let me see. There's another good comment. Let me put this one in here.
Yeah. Any questions? Fire them at me. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Any questions? Fire them at me.
The Mandalorian says, yes, some planets want to be neutral with both sides, but they get pulled into one of the sides. Yeah, they really don't. Exactly. They really don't have a choice. And I think they have to do what's best for their people. Sometimes we saw how they would join the separatists and they're like, yeah, this wasn't the best choice for my people. But at the time, I had no choice. I forget what episode that was.
It was the invasion of Mon Calamari.
Ah, yes. And you could see how they regretted their choice, how the CIS said, oh, we're going to help you. And then all of a sudden, they just controlled the planet. They imprisoned the people. It was like, this is not what I asked for. I didn't agree to this. So you could see that sometimes it backfired, Yeah.
I kind of think that was the line between the droid army and the Republic, was the droids, when they captured a planet, they didn't treat the population very nicely, whereas when the Republic captured the planet, they treated the population nicely. I feel like that was a big difference, which made the sides look at each other.
Yes, and that's what would make people see evil and not, because we all know what's right and wrong, and we all know that is wrong. That's not what you do. If you're saying, I'm going to help your people, you help us, great. We got a deal. Okay, so what do you need from me and my people? We'll help you. And what can you provide for me and my people? And that's how it usually works. But in some cases, they hurt themselves. They really hurt themselves. And that was, I think, a dumb thing to do. Because I understood why Dooku was doing this movement, what he saw, and why he was fighting for it. But in the cartoons, they do some things that, I wouldn't want to join them either. Because, what they're preaching is not what they're doing. Their actions speak louder than what their words are, Yeah. So I agree with you. Ben says, are there any legend stories you would love to see be turned into a TV show or movie?
This is quite a difficult one. To be honest, there's so many good legend stories out there. It's quite hard to pick. Right, there you go. Right, off the top of my head. I'm not sure. I don't think it is canon. If it is canon, I apologize. I don't think it is. But there was a story in Legends in where the Empire experimented on dead stormtroopers to try to bring them back to life. Now, this went terribly wrong, and an entire Star Destroyer basically got infected with stormtrooper zombies. And it leads to like Han Solo and Chewbacca having to go in there and fight and survive and all that. Like basically like a zombie apocalypse inside Star Wars. Now, that's Legends. I feel like that would make a really great horror movie or a horror TV show for Star Wars. And you could really work it in quite well. Because imagine a threat of a zombie contagion spreading across an entire galaxy. Not just the Star Destroyer, what about an entire galaxy? That could be a really big threat. And I feel like it'd be a change, because I love Star Wars, but one thing I like to see, and this one reason why I love Solo so much, is because we're not seeing the dark side versus the light side. We're just seeing average people fighting each other. And I do like to see that change from time to time.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point. See, I don't know too much about Legends. I don't read, unfortunately. I call myself everything Star Wars, but when I think about it, I'm like, you know what? I didn't really read the Legends. I didn't really read the EU. But from what I've seen, like I've seen video game trailers, which look absolutely amazing. I've seen, I've heard about Darth Bane, Darth Nihilus, how the Jedi how they were first called the Jedi. They weren't called the Jedi, which I didn't know about. How there was tons of Sith, and how the Sith kind of destroyed themselves. It wasn't the Jedi that came in. They fought each other. Yes, there was many casualties, but the Sith kind of did it to themselves because each one wanted to be the most powerful Sith. And so so when one would take charge, they're like, oh, we got to kill him. So then they would fight, and they would fight amongst each other until the rule of two came. And then once the rule of two came, that kind of leveled the playing field for the Sith.
See, that's quite funny because, as you say, the Sith destroyed themselves, but in the actual Legends itself, it kind of looks like the Jedi tried to make it to look to the galaxy that they actually destroyed the Sith, when in reality the Sith kind of destroyed themselves. So they kind of took the glory for the Sith killing themselves in a way, which is kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, that's true. And it's funny, I think like even Palpatine, when he took over after the Order 66, he was kind of gloating and saying, well, you know, hey, I brought order to the galaxy. It was all me. And I was like, well, no, it kind of wasn't all you, because no one knew who the hell you were. You know, you were hidden. You were hiding in the shadows, you know. If you think about it, it was the Chancellor. But you're playing both sides of the coin. You're playing the good little Chancellor at the same time. You're playing the evil Emperor. So you're kind of playing a coin here. And, you know, it was funny how he went about doing that until he finally just revealed himself. Yeah, I'm the Emperor. That's it. Face it. You know, and if you don't like it, I'm going to blow your planet up. That's it.
One really funny thing about that I've always thought about is when we've always seen the Emperor, we know that he's a Sith Lord. But if you think about it, the entire galaxy, like an average person in the galaxy, didn't know that the Emperor Palpatine was a Sith Lord. He actually kept being a Sith Lord a secret because he didn't want anyone to know. So it's quite weird when you think about it, because when we're watching the films, we know he's a Sith Lord, but to the average people in the galaxy, they've got no idea. They think he's a normal person leading the galaxy. So that's quite interesting when you think about it.
Oh, here's a question. I'm a little bit behind in the chat. I know, guys. Just bear with me. It's a little slow. It's not as like YouTube. Like you guys can comment right away. I'm trying to get to as many comments as I can. So just bear with me. That's why we're both here answering. So the stream kind of goes a different way because we want you guys. We want to hear from you. And if this is what you want to know, then we want to talk about what you guys want to know. So give me a minute, and I'm gonna post this one up. This is a good one. This is from the Mandalorian. And he writes, it should show in a minute. What if Order 66 didn't happen? What do you think would have happened? That's a good one. Here's what I think. And here's what I think. And you could debate me on this or give your side opinion. Wait, what are you drinking there? What's going on?
Squash. Squash. Squash in a beer glass. Calm down. I'm not getting drunk on stream.
I'm gonna have to call this the drunk stream.
Yep. That'd be funny.
So it would be. Maybe we should do that one time. We don't know a question. Okay, we got a drink.
Yeah, go do that. Ugh.
So here's what I think would happen. Now, I watch sometimes. It's been a while, but I've watched a guy named Generation Tech. I don't know if anybody checked out that channel, but it's a very good channel.
Yeah.
And he was mentioning, and I talked to you, I think, about this. I think I mentioned you did a video. Who would win the war? You know, let's say there was no Jedi. Let's say Order 66 didn't happen. If there was Jedi, I think it's obvious that the Jedi would have won. They lost Grievous. They lost Dooku. Who's in charge now? You know, you can't fight a war. You can't, I don't care who you are. I don't care how powerful you might be. You cannot destroy everybody. So I think that the clones had the upper advantage once they lost Grievous and once they lost Dooku. That now the advantage is all them. But the thing is, robots are easier to replace than clones. Once a clone was injured, if they didn't go to the nursing bay, man, they were useless. You know, sometimes they were injured. Oh, well, you're out of the war. Sorry. You know, we can't help you. Like they sometimes the Republic really didn't care too much about their injured clones. I mean, am I wrong?
There's a bit of a dark story behind this, actually. If a clone trooper got injured in battle and there was a medic nearby, they'd be okay. That medic attends to them. But the problem was there wasn't enough medics around for the average soldier. So what you normally find is if a soldier survived the battle and managed to get back to a medical center, say if that soldier was missing an arm, instead of retiring that soldier and sending them off to somewhere else, they'd find a dead clone and they basically attached that arm onto a living clone, because obviously they're clones, so they're genetically identical, so they could do that. So basically, if they found a dead clone, they'd be like, oh, that arm's good. I'll take that arm and I'll attach it to you because you need an arm, and off you go back to war. Because it was cheaper to do that than it was to build a whole brand new clone from a baby. That's why they did that.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that also I found interesting. He was saying that it's much easier and much quicker to make droids than it would be to clone, because the clones average 2 years for every year. Okay, so if they're 2, they're 4. You know, they're double the amount, yes, But if a war is happening now and if you both have 500,000, let's say, and the clones lose 200,000, the CIS can replace those robots rather quickly. And we saw how they were building them in Geonosis. So that was boom, 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 boom. You cannot build a clone army that way. So since the CIS way outnumbered the clones too, the only difference to me would be if the Jedis, if it was just the Jedis and the clones versus just the CIS, that's where I think they have the advantage. If there was no Jedi, but if there was no Jedi and Order 66 didn't happen because it was just Republic versus the clones, versus the CIS, I would think that since the CIS has such a grand army, and I mean astronomical army, they could replace their troops very fast. I think that they would pull it out. I really think they would. That's just my opinion.
Wow. I agree with you on some points, but at the same time, I kind of change it in my mind. Now, there's a lot of things you got to take into perspective. So if we're saying Order 66 didn't happen, now the one part is a clone trooper compared to a standard droid. A clone trooper is genetically engineered to be an elite soldier, so they've got better stamina. And clone troopers were actually designed to be able to run and do exercise for longer periods of time without getting out of breath because of their genetic DNA. So just a clone and a droid by themselves, the clone was genetically designed to be more elite. However, towards the end of the Clone Wars, Palpatine knew he was going to spring Order 66, but in this case, obviously, it didn't happen. Now, because he was originally planning that, he was slowly stepping down the production of droids because he knew he was going to have a clone army to deal with. He knew he was going to have the clone army, so he didn't need the droid army. So by the end of the Clone Wars, he started to slowly reduce the amount of droids being produced. And then you had, obviously, Dooku die, Grievous die, which didn't help anyone. Now, because of the fact that Palpatine is reducing the amount of droids, that means there's going to be less droids around. But obviously, we're talking about a what-if situation. So say if he carried on producing the same amount of droids, I agree. Yeah. The droid army would have most likely overrun the Republic because down to the time.
Let's say Palpatine's in charge, right? But there's no Order 66. There's just the CIS. He's like, okay, whoever wins. You know, I don't care. I'll figure it out from that moment. Let this war happen while I figure out a plan. Let's say he didn't have Order 66. I still think the droids are being mass-produced. I still think that since it's easier, because you could see towards Episode 7, Mace Windu was saying, well, listen, we're so scattered, we don't really have any backups. Now, you did a video, and I want to point this out. I'm going to get to you, chat. I promise I'm going to get to you. Just stay with us. You did a video that it was a battalion, and I can't remember the number. It might have been the 41st, that they were a backup battalion, right?
Yeah.
But since the clones couldn't afford that anymore because they were losing troops, they became a frontline battalion, right?
Yeah.
So, which, again, you see I'm paying attention to your videos. So I just want to tell you, and they're very informative. That's why I love coming to your channel. Make sure you put your link there because, I want people to check you out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So make sure you check out the Imperial Academy and Grievous and all the others who are here in my chat today who graced me with their presence. We're going to get to as many questions as we can today, I promise. So I feel that if they needed their backup battalion to now jump into the war, well, you don't really have anything to back you up. And if one of these battalions go, what do? That planet is overrun. And Mace was saying, we're losing here. That indicated to me that even with the Jedi, when I think about it right this moment, actually, I never really thought about it. I don't think they would have done it. I still think that the CIS would have beat them. Because the way Mason was talking was like, we're losing, we can't afford to send anybody anywhere anymore. This is it. This is what we have, like, okay, so what are you saying? That you don't have enough clones now? Are you saying you're being overrun, But go ahead, your thought.
That's very true. You have a very good point. But as you were speaking, this thought popped into my head. Now, from the Republic's perspective, they're running out of troops because they're dying quickly. That's true. But they still have all of their high leading generals and strategic commanders to put all their tactical plans in place. They've still got all of their leading generals. Whereas the droid army has got a lot of infantry, but all of their leading generals and leaders have been killed. Now, without leadership, the droids aren't very intelligent. They won't be able to think on their feet about what to do. So it really depends on how good the Republic's tactics are to fight against the droids. But the droids do have an overwhelming presence. So it is really hard, and it all comes down to your personal opinion.
It really is hard because it's really, if Order 66, that's a tough question to really think about. That really is. So I'm going to keep going. This one's from, again, the Mandalorian. He says, hold on, let it pop up. Come on, did it pop up? No. Oh, here, it's slowly popping. There it is. If Palpatine was defeated, there would have been a new enemy because there has to be balance. I want to talk about balance so bad, and I'm so glad to see this. God, I want to talk about balance because I know you're going to love this. And I'm sure the guys and people in the chat will love this too. Here's what always irks me about Star Wars. Damn, it irks me. I mean, I heard what Freddie Prinze Jr. had to say about it, what George had to say about it, what Filoni's had to say about it. I've heard it. You know, and I've heard it in the Force Awakens when the guy lost Santeca, I think that's his name. Yeah. He passed. Unfortunately, the actor passed. I did a video about that, but unfortunately. But he said the Jedi bring balance. I'm like, wait a second. Wait just a second. Because Snoke goes later on in the movie, where there's the dark, there's the light to meet it. And vice versa. Right? Yeah. And I'm going to prove the opposite way. Because Luke said, I'm the light. But if I go into hiding, there can't be any dark, right? Because now there's no light. So if there's no light, there's no dark, the galaxy's fine. But as long as I rise, there's got to be dark.
This is very true.
This will never be it'll always go in circles. It'll never end. Because even, Rey beat Palpatine, whatever, I'm not going to even get into my feelings on this stuff, but Rey beats Palpatine. Guess what? There's going to be someone to rise again. Whether it's Broom Boy, whether it's Finn, I don't know. Maybe Finn and Rey go. It's always going to be a circle. There's always going to be a new, whether the light gets killed or the dark. So neither one could ever succeed. And history shows that. There has to be balance. This is why I don't understand why the Gray Jedi, Freddie Prinze Jr. said, oh, the Gray Jedi doesn't exist. It's just a fan thing. That's a fan thing. Let me ask you this, okay? Explain Ahsoka Tano. Explain Dooku. Explain to me Mace Windu. Explain to me, I know it's Legends, but Star Killer. These are characters, Qui-Gon Jinn, Cypher Dyas. These are characters that didn't kind of said, wait a minute, I have a problem with what you're teaching. Anakin, another person. They could all have been equal. To me, Count Dooku, everybody said, why didn't he have the Sith eyes? Because he wasn't true Sith. Kylo Ren was not true Sith. That's why he didn't have the eyes.
This is true. This is true.
Mace Windu became the judge, the jury, and the executioner when Anakin says he's got to stand trial. What are you doing? This is not how we do things. He's got to stand trial. Anakin didn't have a choice at that moment because it's either his wife or I hang out with Mace Windu, who already doesn't like me. I have to make a choice. These are people who had dark in them, but had light in them. Like Ahsoka Tano, she walked away from the Order, even though she had, she loved Anakin, she loved being with him. He meant a lot to her. But it was the Order that betrayed her. Like, I didn't do this. I didn't do the bombing. It wasn't me. Don't you see that? You're supposed to be the Jedi. You're supposed to see through this cloud. And they couldn't. So she's like, listen, I don't agree with what you're doing. I don't agree with it. And I think that when they say the Jedi are balanced, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the true person, the perfect balance would have been a Star Killer. the perfect balance would have been a Qui-Gon Jinn, a Count Dooku, a Mace Windu, an Anakin Skywalker, a Ahsoka Tano. These are the characters to me that would bring, if they would bring balance. That would be balanced.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you feel. Let me in. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I agree with most of your points, especially when you picked out some really good points, like Mace Windu. Now, Mace Windu's purple lightsaber, the meaning of a purple lightsaber literally means you are a Jedi that uses the light and the dark side for good purposes. That's the whole point of the purple lightsaber. Now, Mace Windu, if you just pick the character of Mace Windu, that literally is the embodiment of balance because he uses the light and the dark. That you literally can't get more balanced than that. But in the Star Wars Rebels TV show, there's a character called the Bendu, and the Bendu literally says, I'm the one in the middle. I use the light and the dark. I create balance. Because one thing that I've always thought is interesting is one reason why I love the Clone Wars so much. If you think about it, the Clone Wars, even though it was a war, it was actually the only point in time where everything was balanced because you had the light and the dark fighting against each other in a balanced way. Whereas in the time of the Galactic Empire, it was just the dark. The time before the Clone Wars, it was just the light. So the Clone Wars kind of shows you the light and the dark at a steady balance fighting against each other. But any time other than that, it's just one or the other.
Right. It's such a, I don't know, it's such a tricky thing. I just don't believe that it's one side or the other that brings balance. They both have to have it, but like you said, if Mace Windu or the Bendu, which is the perfect example, I think the Bendu is a great example. I didn't even think of the Bendu from Rebels. I think that's a great example. I think that is a great example of the balance. I absolutely agree. And again, I remember I was saying before early in the stream, it takes action to reaction. The Bendu only got how he was because of what happened, right? He reacted based on an action that offended him, that bothered him. You know, when he saw what the Empire was doing, yeah, he got involved. He wasn't going to get involved, but he got involved because he's like, "Hey, this is my planet. You're not messing with me, buddy. You know who you're messing with there."
I feel like Count Dooku could have become like a Bendu because we know that he leaves the Jedi Order because he realized the Order is corrupt. I feel like he could have been like a grey Jedi, but I feel like he was absorbed by the dark side and he was pulled over the balance. So I feel like if Dooku managed to avoid the dark side a little bit, he could have been a grey Jedi basically, and he could have been in the middle. Yeah.
Grievous wanted to join the stream. Shoot, I didn't see that. It was at 2:30. What time is it? 2:30. Just like 20 minutes ago. Shoot, I don't even know if you're still here, Grievous. I'm trying to get everybody on separately because I want to be one-on-one with people, and so I will have you on my stream, no doubt. And again, my goal, just so you all know, is to have every channel that I possibly can on this channel. Right now, I'm new to me, so I don't want to lose the stream, and I'm afraid if I do anything, I'm going to lose the stream, and I lost it yesterday, so I have to be real careful. But my Wi-Fi is a little itchy with this whole, I can't say the word because of YouTube, but you know what's going on around the world. So I have to be careful with the Wi-Fi. But I promise that if you want to be part of this live stream, hit me a DM on Twitter, any channel. If you want to do this one-on-one with me or you want to come in, maybe I get another channel, we could do that. I can have up to 6 channels. I think it's too much. I'd rather just do 2 right now until I get used to this. So, but any channel out there with Star Wars who wants to come on, who knows me, go to my Twitter, go to my DM, tell me you want to be a part of it. Give me a day, your time, and I will schedule and we're going to do a live stream. That goes for everybody. Okay, let me see what else is. I'm trying to look at all the comments, see if there's any more questions. Yeah, there's a lot. Is a lot more questions?
Towards the bottom is some.
Okay. This is funny. I still have to show this. I'm about to. Let me show this. This is funny. Opinions on a Grok droid movie?
I mean, that could be interesting from a certain point of view. That could be interesting because you could make a movie on a gonk droid that was in the background of all these really important scenes. Like, think of an important scene where you see a gonk droid. You could make a movie on that. That'd be a good idea.
Maybe a show. I don't know. But the way, have you covered the Gronk droid? I know you covered the mouse droid. Did you cover the Gronk droid? I don't remember.
I covered the Gonk droid about 3 years ago, but I'm starting to go back over my old videos and make new ones. I've made a new droid video on a medical droid, but I can tell you what a Gonk droid is now if you want. If you'd like, I can do that now.
Yeah. Oh, I you know what? I'd love to see you do a video on the Gronk droid. I would definitely check it out. If you do it, I'm definitely going to check it out.
I mean, I can tell you what a Gonk droid is live right now if you want to. I mean, I can say right now. I know it off the top of my head.
Stage is yours, my friend. Go right ahead.
So basically, a Gonk droid is it's a walking generator, and they were used to generate power for electricity. And you know that they make the noise, the gonk noise. Well, that's actually because of an inner mechanism inside the droid itself. It used to move, and as it moved, it made that noise when they're walking. And because of that, it got the nickname Gonk droid. And Gonk droids are quite popular because they're quite a funny comedy piece because they go gonk gonk as they're walking along. But they're really only a walking generator. Now there are some Gonk droids that can carry like fuel, which could be transferred into starfighters. But the majority of Gonk droids that we see on the screen are basically like a generator for bases or starfighters or lighting, literally anything like that.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, these droids all had a purpose. What was so involved about George Lucas and what I don't think that the current Star Wars Disney gets, he made everything so deep. This is why I love it. This is why I hope it doesn't die out. This is why I'm so passionate about this thing. He thought about battalions for the clones. He thought about different generals. He thought about different characters. He thought about different, like, oh, this one's got to have this weapon. This one's got to have that weapon. This Jedi's got to have this kind of lightsaber. He's got to have these force power. It's like everything was so thought out, micromanaged. It was incredible how deep this is and how people just say, oh, it's just Star Wars. But it's so deep, and it's just why for 40 years I'm so involved in it. How deep it goes, because it's not just a movie. There's books, there's comic books, there's so much. It's amazing. Like even the smallest droid has a purpose in Star Wars. It's incredible.
You've literally summed up the reason why I love Star Wars so much. I don't have it on me now, but if I got a Star Wars dictionary from like the George Lucas era of Star Wars, it'd be massive. However, if I got one from the Disney era, it would be smaller. Now, I feel like you say, with the Disney era, they've kind of cut back on that backstory because with the old Star Wars, if you saw an item on the screen like a blaster, that entire blaster would have a backstory of its own. Before you even get to the character who owns it, that blaster would have a backstory. You'd know who'd make it, you know who'd own it, you know how powerful it was. And then you look at the character, then you know who the character was. Where did the character come from? Da, 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 da. And that's why, like you say, I've always loved Star Wars. I'm just making graphics.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to go through the comments. This is a good one. This is from the Jedi Purge, who's also got a great channel. If you guys want to check it out, he just did 2 videos one went over 1,000. It was incredible. So he said, I was hoping to get him on today, but I'll have to get him on at another stream. Like they said in episode 1, season 1 of the Clone Wars, 1 Jedi is equivalent to 100 droids. And then at the end, they say that they are equivalent to 1,000 droids. Yes, that kind of is hypocritical and kind of contradicts what they said. If anybody knows about this, it's the man on my side over here. So Imperial Academy, I'm going to let you handle that one.
I feel like the reason why that's happened is more of a storyline error than more of a physical law, like Star Wars factor. I feel like when they were writing the story, there might have been a bit of a mess up. But maybe because over the course of the Clone Wars, the Jedi grew thinner because more were killed, so their reputation was damaged per se. So maybe you could say they were worth less compared to some battle droids. That's the way I put it.
Okay. I mean, I do see them, but like I said, I guess it depends on the droids. Like if you have just a common battle droid who's not too intelligent, like you said earlier, yeah, a Jedi could probably wipe out a ton of them. But if you have something like the droidicas, the super battle droids, the different kinds of the spider droids, it might not be so simple as you're like, yeah, look at the size of this droid. This thing is like twice the size of me. I don't think you're going to take them out as fast as you would a little simple battle droid. Yeah, I think there's a big difference in that one. Okay,
That's
this
the
is
very-
I don't know how I'm going to answer this, but I'm just going to pop it up there anyway because this is, someone else asked a question. Your mom is not proud of you 40. What the name? Anyway, what do you rate the Star Wars movies? I don't know if he means by all 10 of them. I don't know if he means a particular one. I mean, I don't know if he's asking for a ranking. It's not really specific. I'm just going to say this. What do I rate them? Well, the original trilogies hooked me in, and I would say like New Hope. New Hope was the first movie I ever seen in my life in the theater, so that really hooked me. And then, The Empire Strikes Back was great, and Return of the Jedi. I kind of ranked them in that order. 1, 2, 3. Some put Empire as a top-notch movie. It was a great movie. But without the first one, we're not getting to the second one. So, now in the prequels, I'm going to put it differently in the order. My number one favorite movie of all time is the third one, Revenge of the Sith. That is absolutely my favorite movie. It's the most powerful movie. You feel it. You feel the anger of Anakin. You feel the love with Kenobi telling you like a brother to me. This was well pointed out by Dave Filoni. I don't know if you heard it. That Anakin had a brother. He never had a father. The father figure to him was Qui-Gon Jinn. The brother figure to him was Kenobi. And I never thought about it that way. But now that he popped that in my head, and maybe some of you don't think that way, that's what it was. And I thought that was very interesting. So
but that's a bit weird. Because in Attack of the Clones, Anakin actually tells Obi-Wan, "You are like a father to me." He literally says that.
You know what? Now you're going to make me go look for that part. You see, now look what you did to me. That's you caught something that I didn't remember. Wow. So
when they're walking into the bar, Anakin literally goes, "You're literally like a father to me," and then Obi-Wan literally says, "Well, why do I feel like you're going to be the death of me?" So it depends on where you look at it. Depends on where you look at it.
That's funny. So I think like for the prequels, I would put 3, 2, 1, meaning Revenge of the Sith was the best, Attack of the Clones was the second best, and Phantom Menace was the one I didn't like the least, and probably because of Jar Jar ruined that for me. But overall, if I take his character and tone him down, like he's not in it as much, it's much more tolerable because the pods racing scene I enjoyed. I enjoyed the ending battle of the Phantom Menace was phenomenal. When you have Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and you have the space battle. I thought that was great, man. I was like, oh, that felt great. And then you had the ground battle. You had 3 battles happening all at the same time, which is what I really hoped I got with the new movie, The Rise of Skywalker. And man, I felt so empty. So now I'm going to get to the sequels, which I didn't like as much as the prequels or the original trilogy. I know some people don't agree with me, but look, everybody's entitled to their opinion on my channel. I don't hate anybody if they love The Last Jedi and that's their favorite. Hey, that's fine. If that's, but that's not for me. In my opinion, the 3. Well, The Force Awakens felt like A New Hope revised. But what I loved about it, and this is where the first half of the movie was kick-ass. The second half of the movie ruined it for me. I loved the first half, hated the second half. Once Kylo Ren takes the helmet off, it's over. It's over for me. It changed the whole complexity of that movie. I didn't like it. Luke's in it for apparently, 2 minutes, says nothing. Very disappointing. Didn't like that. The action was good. The action was good. I loved the interaction between the old characters and the new characters. That I love too. I have to say, I really did love it. They had a chance to really bring out Rey, Finn, and Poe, but the second movie destroyed all of it. And that's what killed the sequel trilogy in my mind was The Last Jedi. Now, here's why. Before everybody gets on my case, it ruined the characters' arcs. Okay, we got nothing about Finn, we got nothing about Poe, we got nothing about Rey. We could have been more deep. We got nothing from it. We got an FU to JJ. Basically, that's what Johnson said. JJ, I don't like your stuff. I don't like your characters. I'm killing Snoke. Snoke was the bad guy of the movie, of the trilogy, and he kills him like that. I'm like, what are you doing? That should have been in episode 9. It should have been Snoke, Luke, and Rey and Kylo. It's what it should have came down to. And maybe Luke sacrifices himself for Rey, like she's about to get killed by Snoke, and he gets killed. And maybe Kylo's like, you know, oh my God, he's going to kill Rey, and he turns to the light and protects her or something. And I would have changed the ending. It just, The Last Jedi really ruined it for me. It killed the sequel trilogy for me. It destroyed everything for me. It didn't make sense. Why did the worst scene in Star Wars happen when Rose Tico smashes into Finn? I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst scene ever. It just ruined it for me.
Rob, I'm gonna need you.
So to me, that I would put last. The Rise of Skywalker. It was okay. It wasn't horrible. I didn't think it was horrible. I didn't leave the theater feeling horrible. I just left. I came in with questions and I left with questions.
Yeah.
It didn't, and the ending didn't give me what I wanted. It didn't give me the space battle like the Phantom Menace. It didn't give me the space battle like Return of the Jedi. It didn't give me that. So I was disappointed. So overall, I guess The Force Awakens, then The Rise of Skywalker, and then The Last Jedi. It's rough for me. I'll try to get to. I can't get to too much more because my daughter's really, for some reason, having a big problem today. I left more questions. All the Jedi Purge says all the fights between Kylo and Rey were worthless. Taco says The Last Jedi messes up everything. Ben says what's so annoying is you watch the sequel trilogy is you can clearly tell there wasn't a best plan. There was no way Palpatine coming back was planned. No, it wasn't. And I think they absolutely lied about that through their teeth. I think Kennedy, Iger, and JJ lied. That's an absolute lie. Absolute lie. I'm sorry. I know I'm getting political. I don't normally get a little political. I'm going to post the Imperial Academy's channel up here if you want to, again, subscribe to this guy right near me. Check out his channel down below. Very good guy. Covers the Clone Wars. You're going to love it. You guys love the Clone Wars. I don't know why you're not in his channel. There's something wrong here. Something wrong. Something wrong with people. I'm telling you. I ever learn a lot from this guy. He teaches me a lot of stuff. What else have we got here? Let's see. Okay. This is interesting. I'll post this one. The Mandalorian. What does he say? Hold on. Give it a minute. It's going to pop up. What would you think would have happened to Jango Fett if he survives the arena in Geonosis?
Rob, I need you. I have a problem here. We could do it.
You want me to end the stream?
Yes.
Okay, give me a couple of minutes. Okay, I got to go after this question because my daughter's acting up. But let's just do this last question. And look, we're going to do this again. We got to do this again.
I have to come back again because this is good fun.
Yeah, so this was fun, and I thank everybody in the chat, by the way. So what would you think would happen if Jango Fett survived the arena?
Well, obviously, he was the host of the clones, and I feel like if he survived, the Republic would have been a little bit weirded out that the guy that's on the enemy team is the guy that's all of the clone troopers. I feel like that would have happened a bit, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, Jango Fett's a bounty hunter. So after all the clones are made, and after if he left the Battle of Geonosis, maybe he would have just gone back to being a bounty hunter because his job was done. He's gave his DNA. He's done that. He's on to the next job. He's gonna go and hunt someone else. So thinking about it off the top of my head, I feel like he would have taken his money, got paid, gone to do the next job because he's a bounty hunter. He doesn't hang around for that long, unless say Dooku paid him to stay on for protection or something, but Dooku doesn't really need protection. He doesn't really need that much protection, I suppose. So, yeah, it really depends on which way you think about it. In my head, as he's a bounty hunter, I like to think he's just gone off to the next job, and maybe he's gone off to work with Cad Bane. We don't know. That would have been a really cool thing to see, to be honest.
You know, it's funny. You read my mind because you just said that just as I was thinking. I was just going to say that I would think that Count Dooku might keep him around because when you get to the Battle of Geonosis, he didn't have to be there. I mean, really, why was he there? So I was like, if he's there, because if you're a bounty hunter, you're often doing something, right?
Mm.
But he was there. He was by Dooku's side, and the minute that Dooku was getting attacked, what did he do? He shoots the flamethrower like he's protecting him, and then he gets involved in the war. So I'm thinking, I mean, if he would have stayed with Dooku, been more of his bodyguard, and just stuck with him and not got involved, I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought we would have seen him in the next movie, but it kind of shocked me when I saw what I saw. I was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that to happen. I thought that the life he would have led, and he would have taught his son how to, be a warrior.
Yeah. One part that I've just thought of in my head, when Mace Windu actually chops his head off, there's a quick camera shot at Dooku, and Dooku kind of looks down, and he kind of looks upset. So it makes me think. Were Jango and Count Dooku maybe like good friends? Did they become quite close as friends? Because I feel like if Dooku hired a bounty hunter and the bounty hunter died, I don't think Dooku would have got like upset about it. He would have just been like, carry on, off we go, next person. I don't think he would have been that fussy.
You know what I was going to say? Also, if you see this, right, before when the Jedis are all surrounded, before the clones come with Yoda, right? They're all surrounded by all the robots, and there's only a handful of them left because a lot of them got killed with the droids, right? So they're fighting the droids. This would go back because now you guys made me think. when that happened, there was a lot of Jedis, right? There was Jedis in the stands. There was Jedis there. So when you want to talk about that one Jedi can wipe out 100 or 1,000, well, why didn't it happen then? Because it wasn't with Mace Windu. You have Anakin, Obi-Wan, Padme shooting a blaster. You got Jedis all around the arena, yet they're getting stampeded because the droid army was so insurmountable. Battle droids, regular droids, they couldn't handle it. That is what makes me think that if it came down to it, that was my opinion. I just wanted to add that. I forgot to throw that in before.
Yeah.
And I think that in my opinion, I think Jango would have made it great with Dooku. I think he would have made a great bodyguard. He would have trained his son. They would have got paid. They would have had the life because he's the leader of the Separatists. And the thing about Dooku, I just want to say this in closing because I got to get going. I think Dooku, he stops the droids, right? They all stop, and the guy's looking like, what's happened? Why'd they stop fighting? He gives Mason them an option. He's like, listen, join me. Join me. Again, he's pleading to them that he doesn't want to kill them. He wants them to join his cause. But they don't see his cause. They don't see him as trying to fight for freedom. They're blind to say, look, guys, you're going the wrong way. You're doing the wrong things. You're becoming warriors. Like Tano said, you're supposed to be peacekeepers. You're being run by a Sith Lord. You just don't know it. You just don't know it. But together, we can get through all this. And they turned him down like Obi-Wan did. And you know what? If they would have, there's a good what if. If Mace Windu would have said yes, or Obi-Wan would have said yes, that might have changed everything in Star Wars lore. That might have changed everything. Because now Order 66, that you were going to say?
Well, I was saying if you need to go, we could wrap this up and continue talking about this point next time if you wanted to.
Well, no. I want you to get your thought in. I would love to get your thought in, and I'll get going.
Well, I agree with you. I feel like especially if Mace Windu said yes, because Mace Windu was the second highest ranking Jedi in the Order at that time, and if Obi-Wan said yes, it's a good point. Because if Obi-Wan said yes, would that have meant Anakin had fallen to the dark side quicker? Because his master, the person that he works alongside with, had basically just abandoned him. Could that have sent Anakin down the dark side faster? Maybe.
Yeah, it might have. It might have, but maybe Anakin doesn't turn. Maybe what happens is, let's say Obi turns, and Anakin says, "Well, you know what happened?" And he explains to him, "Look, Anakin, this is what's happening. You got to join me. You got to come with me. He's not evil, whatever." And maybe Anakin then says, "Hey, you know what? All right, I'll join you." Palpatine might be like, "Whoa, What just happened here? what just happened? And you know what? Palpatine would have been in trouble because he would have had Dooku now, who knows all the Jedis or whatever, all the Sith know that they cannot beat Palpatine by themselves. Dooku could not. Vader could not. Because that's why they all wanted someone to join them. For example, Maul asked Tano, join me. If you join me, together we can beat Sidious. Do it. No, you just want power. That's it. Anakin's not turning. You're wrong. It's not going to happen. So they're all in the Starkiller, and with Starkiller, right? Vader's looking to winds up getting his son. He wants his son. He said, son, Empire Strikes Back. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy. Together, me and you. But I can't do it by myself. I need you to join me. So there's been numerous times that the Sith knew that their master didn't teach them anything. And I'm going to really blow your brain when you think about this. Why do you think Palpatine didn't teach Vader, Dooku, Maul, Ventress, all of them, everything? Because of what he did to Plagueis. He knew that through history, when the Rule of Two came, that the apprentice is always going to kill the master. What does that mean? Sidious loses all his power. He's scared to lose his power. That's his fear. Scared to lose his power. If he teaches Dooku everything, he might kill him. If he teaches Maul everything, he might kill him. If he teaches that Ventress everything, she might kill him. That's why he wanted Ventress dead. He wanted Ventress dead because he realized if Dooku and Ventress form a bond, they're going to get together and they're going to kill me. I can't have this happen. So Dooku, you go and kill Ventress. Dooku, you go and, you'll cause trouble. That's what Palpatine was scared of. That's why the Sith were the way they were. Palpatine planned everything out. He was probably the most intelligent guy of Star Wars lore that you're going to find.
Definitely.
Anyway, I do have to go, unfortunately. I was hoping I can go another 40 minutes, but I kind of got to cut it short. Anyway, this is everything Star Wars. This is the Imperial Academy. Check out the Imperial Academy's channel. His link is right here. And if you're looking for the time, it's 2:58. That's when his comment is there, Eastern time. It says 2:58 on my chat. Check him out. Check out the Jedi Purge. He's at 2:59. You might want to check out his channel. Check out Grievous Hero, Rosie Wen, Taco. There's a lot of great channels here. If you haven't checked them out, please check them out. Sorry to get all your questions today, but guess what? We're going to do this again. And I'm going to have much more people. Me and Cameron are going to do it again. Maybe if I get you, I'll get someone else. And we're going to do this again. This is not going to be the last time, Cameron. I'm telling you, we're going to find a way. And we're going to do this. I promise you.
We will do. We will.
I'm honored to finally, after watching all your videos, to finally have met you. You're a great guy. I can't thank you for keeping me informed about the Clone Wars, learning about the clones, the droids, the planets. You're very informative. I love it. Your videos are short. I don't have to sit there for 20 minutes. It's very informative. It's great. I think you have a great channel. I think you deserve way more subs than what you have. You deserve way more. I thank you for taking your time out to be here. It's great talking to you. I'm very happy to have talked to you. Chat, I love you guys, all of you. And if you don't know that, something's wrong. The Mandalorian, the Jedi Purge, Taco, Grievous. Even if you're here for one question, Rosie Warren, who else did I miss? I might have missed the guy with the name. Your mom is not proud of you, but that's fine. Whatever. She's not proud of me. What can I do? Ben V, thanks for being here. D4 Gaming, don't think I didn't see you. I want to hide my kid because she's going crazy right now. So all of you, I noticed you. I couldn't get to everything, but you know what? You guys make this run. You guys made this work today. You guys are the reason that this worked so well. I thank you for being here. Check out the Imperial Academy. Please go check out this guy. You're missing a lot of stuff if you don't. Come back to my channel. Check me out. We'll be doing more videos. Check out the Baby Yoda cereal. It's a serious thing. I'm not kidding you. It is coming out. I'm telling you, it's coming out. I just got a little creative, but it is coming out. You want to say goodbye? This is your chance. I'm about to sign off. This is your opportunity. You want to say something? Anything?
Yep.
Okay. My daughter wants to say something before we go. First, say hi to Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
Hello.
Say hi, Jedi Purge.
Hi, Jedi Purge.
Say hi, Taco.
Hi, Taco.
Say hi, Mandalorian.
Hi, Mandalorian. Why is he called Taco?
That's his
Like
name.
a real taco, but eaten by.
Go ahead. Say what you want to say before we go. Go ahead.
I'm host Maya from this video.
That's it?
Yes.
You don't want to say hi? Is this Everything Star Wars? I'm here, you're there.
Hi, it's Everything Stars, and I'm your host, Maya, and that's my host, Daddy.
I'm here and you're there. All right, everyone. I got to go. You guys take care. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. I love you all. And check out the Imperial Academy. Cameron?
Yeah.
Peace out.
See ya.
Great to talk to you, man. Hope we'll do this again.
Definitely. We'll definitely do it again. Definitely.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to end the stream, but hold on. I just want to say something to you before you go, okay?
No problem.
All right. Bye, everyone else. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.